So, good evening, lovelies. Just either seated or lying down, whatever you prefer to come into your practice this evening. And we'll just have a few minutes just to settle and sort of decompress from our day, whether you've been busy or not, physically or mentally. It's always nice just to land on your mat. Just take a few moments to breathe and start to connect. And really enjoying following the inhale and the exhale. And as you do this, you might notice that your shoulders just start to kind of release a bit, or they become softer, or you just notice that they've been hugged up near your ears for a while. Begin to notice what tension you might be holding in your upper back or lower back, around the main joints, the hips and the knees. If you're tense in your jaw perhaps, or your face just feels really tight. Sometimes it's not until we really think about it that we even notice that we've been holding so much. So using every exhale just to soften. And inquiring within, what do you need? What does your body need? What does your mind need from your practice this evening? Maybe it's to find clarity with something, or to release something that's been a little bit niggly. How often do we actually ask ourselves, what do I need today? What do I need right now? Often feelings can come up throughout the day, throughout our week. Maybe we haven't got time for them. We're on a schedule. So this is a place that if they do resurface, because we've pushed them down before, for us to just sit with them and allow whatever way our body wants to express it to just come out. So if you're lying down, have a few moments to perhaps have a nice stretch, arms overhead and then hugging the knees in. If you're already seated, then maybe just rolling the shoulders and moving the head and neck. And then ever so gently you can come to seated into Zazen. And I think for this evening's practice of meditation, we'll just have some quiet following the breath. Zazen means just seated in meditation. So we'll take 5 minutes like we often do and just rest the hands. And just as the anchor for the mind wandering off, just come back to the breath. It's the thing that we can do all the time, anywhere throughout our life, is just tune into our breath. And every now and then when the mind wanders, as it will, just try and come back when you notice that it's happened, without berating yourself. Just come back. So we'll close the eyes, relaxing and softening. And just learning to be comfortable sitting with ourselves. Notice how long you can be with your breath before the thought comes in. Just staying with your breath. Notice your thoughts. Just following your breath still. And then very gently, just coming back, blinking your eyes open. And noticing how that felt, whether that felt really long, more than 5 minutes, or it felt really short. I think every time I sit down for 5 minutes, time just either stretches or not sometimes, depending whether the mind is busy. So we're going to come into our first pose. Gazelle is our first one. So coming into a rotation of the hip. If this doesn't suit you, either adapting it or coming out of the pose and doing something else, but it is quite a nice hip opener. So we're going to keep the left leg out and just take the right leg as if we're hurdling. Remember, sort of leaping over the hurdles at school. So left leg extended, and then just rotating our right leg and hip and the knee. So sometimes your knee might be quite high, it might be level with your hip. Some very flexible people might have their leg sort of some way behind them. So just find where you're comfortable and then just resting one hand here and one hand to lean into and just softening. Feeling into this posture. And just relaxing. Notice if you sit upright, you might feel it a lot more around the hip joint. You can lean a lot more into your left arm if you need to. And just gently breathing to the belly, you can close your eyes. Trying to relax your right buttock and through your thigh. Breathing to your belly and just allowing the breath to be lovely and soft. And so just explore as you sit with this pose whether there is the ability to sort of sit up or even sort of move the leg round ever so gently and explore what flexibility you have, or when everything becomes a little bit more supple. Keep trying to relax, and even your abdomen, notice if your belly tightens up or around your waist. How does this pose make you feel? Is it interesting how it feels around the hip? A gentle stretch on your quad muscle of the right leg. And just being gentle with your knee. And so we'll just gently take one more breath here. And before you move, just noticing how this actually feels at the end of it's about sort of 4.5 minutes in this pose. Leaning to your left as you just release your right leg, and we'll swing it round, coming into neutral spine. Sometimes it's often the after pose as we lie here that we'll notice even more the effects of that posture. So just trying to let yourself relax. It might take quite a few breaths before you can really let go through your back. Maybe if you just need to kind of rock your pelvis or wag your tail, just to find that comfortable neutral spine. Probably feeling some stimulation in your left hand and left arm, where we've been leaning into that arm. And if it's the inner arm, it's the lung and your heart channel. And then just feeling whatever you feel around your right leg. And then when you're ready, let's gently hug the knees in, one leg at a time, right then left. Just supporting your core as you hug your knees in. Little rock. Maybe some circles, just massaging the back. Being intrigued as to what you feel. Any sensations that have radiated out from that sort of central place we were stretching. So just rolling up. And coming into gazelle the other side. So right leg stretched out, left leg just swings behind. And it always amazes me how the way your hips are set skeletally can really differ from one side to the other in how much you need to tilt, how your knee rotates. So just being very gentle with yourself. So relax the belly, soft breaths. The tilt of your pelvis may differ, the kind of where your buttocks are connected to the mat. And adjust anything that feels not right in your knee or your hip joint. And just try and breathe through anything that feels quite tight and challenging this evening. Maybe after a few minutes, there'll be a gentle release. Softening your shoulders and allowing the neck to be soft as well. And then just focus around your core and the pelvic area, if there's any tightness. If you start to feel any pain really developing, please come out the pose. And just noticing if the pose has changed a little. There's a bit more give in your posture. What feelings does this posture bring up? Does it allow your mind to wander, or are you quite focused on actually everything you're feeling? So we'll just take one more breath. And gently leaning to your right as you release your left leg. Ever so slowly, noticing how it feels in the knee to just get everything coming back into alignment. Let's lie down for a moment. And again, just tuning in to what you feel wherever you feel it. Softening through the back of your body, arms and wrists. Sometimes if the back is tight, there's still a bit of tightness that we hold in our abdomen and all the muscles at the front of the body. Just enjoying some deep breaths, pondering your thoughts. Just trying to relax with every out breath. And then we'll gently bring the knees in. Have another little hug. And as you bend the knees in, just aware of how that feels to move those joints. Nice little rock. Massage the back. So rolling up. In yin or any kind of yoga, hatha yoga, I always like to counterpose whatever posture we've done. So this next pose is flamingo, where we've had the hip rotated externally. We're going to kind of rotate it internally now. This is a posture, so what we do is we bring our right foot sort of just above the knee. For me, having the side of your foot, the bones there on just above the knee, is a little bit uncomfortable. So I'd suggest sort of getting something soft, maybe just a soft blanket or a corner of a cushion, and just resting it there. And we just lean back into the arms with this one. You may also, I'm just going to suggest this now because I'm feeling it, I'm going to swap over the cushion for under the thigh and just a little blanket for padding the knee. It's not cheating to use these props. It's very beneficial to allowing your body to release and surrender here. So just gently noticing what you're feeling. And just trying to let everything soften and stretch, giving it time. So there's no need to be sort of rigid in your shoulders and back, just allow there to be a softness there as well. Noticing if you like these poses or they're strange. It might take some time to really let everything become floppy and heavy. Our hips are very linked with our sacral chakra, our relationships, our emotions, and how we flow in life, whether there's boulders and blocks in the way of life at the moment, or whether we're flowing and everything's going the way we want it to. And the hips can be very linked with our future, and also our fear of the future and nervousness of what's ahead of us and being insecure. So a lot of subtle emotional energy can get locked around the hips. When you come into these poses, notice what thoughts come up, what ideas, what scenarios or memories. Inquire within whether how you feel about this pose or the hips is reflecting life at this moment. Does it feel easier to rotate the leg this way than with gazelle? Notice your breath. Is it deep and slow? How does it feel just to relax the head forward for a few moments? And then just as we come into this last part of the pose, just have one more scan through your body and notice if you're tense in your left or your right leg. Really trying to let go. Let's take one more breath. And slowly, as always, as you come out and rotate out of this position, and then finding neutral. I'd keep your props handy, whatever you've used that side. It's likely that you might want them the other side. So coming down. A nice big inhale and maybe a long sigh. Let the back soften. Tingly hands. Perhaps you can feel cool or coldness in the inner thighs, around the groin. Very much targeting liver and kidneys and spleen meridians. So when everything just sort of starts to fade a little, we'll hug in again. Again, nice and slowly, aware of how it feels to move your leg, hip and knee joint. If you need to rotate your wrists, we've been leaning on our hands a little bit, so if you need to rub the hands, circle the wrists, just doing whatever feels right. And then coming up. So the other side, again, I'm going to use a pillow under the leg and a nice little bit of cushioning around the knee for the foot or your ankle as it goes across. And then just gently leaning back. Noticing how this side feels. It might immediately feel really different. Trying to let go and relax the inner thigh muscles. Can you notice a different feeling in the rotation of your hip joint this side? And if you want to, you can just let the head lower. Feel that stretch through the upper back, only if it's comfortable. Try to relax the breath in the belly. Keep checking through your body for that subtle tightness that you might still hold. Just witnessing your thoughts as well. Any feelings. You can notice also if you don't have feelings, then there is sort of a numb feeling with you. Keep trying to let go. Check in with that left inner thigh. And so very gently, we'll just take a few more breaths, really noticing what we're holding still. And then slowly lifting up, rotating your leg with awareness. And then coming down. Again, just doing anything you need to release your wrists. Rocking your pelvis if that helps to find neutral spine. And how does it feel around the inner thighs, your upper legs, the hips, the pelvis? Perhaps there feels like a little bit of freedom and some space. Again, ever so linked also with our root chakra and feeling very grounded in life. Or not grounded and disrupted and not feeling safe and stable. So keep just trying to relax through your back and your spine. And then gently we'll hug our knees in. gentle rock. Sometimes it's nice just to bring the head up and stretch a little more through our back. And then rolling up. Okay. Going to come into a pose that I've been preparing us for with those two postures. We're going to come into frog. Now, I'm going to give you two variations. Frog, hopefully you're on a carpet or something soft. If not, use something for the knees. I like to maybe stretch a cushion. So frog is where we take our knees wide and then we come down onto elbows or even lower. The knees sort of stay in line with the hips. Otherwise, if we come back, we're more like into a child's or a Hastabalasana or forwards. We just try to avoid that. However, if you have bolsters or stacks of cushions and you're just feeling like you'd like to be a little bit more supported tonight, then you can come into frog like this and rest your body onto a bolster. It just allows you to, it feels supported a bit more, and maybe even take it a little bit lower to the belly as well. I'm going to leave it up to you. We won't do the whole 5 minutes here. We'll take less time here. It's quite intense. So choosing, and try not to let the knees go to their fullest extent. Hold the posture at about 70% stretch. I'm going to try the bolster this evening. Go a little bit more restorative. So you're going to feel that real deep stretch on the inner thighs and the groin. And just trying to relax the upper body as well. Breathing into your belly, trying to soften your lower back. And really trying to fight the urge to keep the tension in your legs. Notice your breathing. Nice deep breaths. If you had your head one way over a bolster, just maybe twist it to the other side now. Just noticing if this pose feels like it's in some strange way getting easier. I'm just going to take a few more breaths and then gently lifting up, come into Shavasana. That was just about 3 minutes in that pose. I've got to say, it's probably at the 2-minute mark, it started to feel quite comfortable, and there was almost like a surrender to the body, and it felt easier. It's always the way, sometimes with the challenging poses. So let's lie down, feel what we feel. Again, a very lovely posture for encouraging imbalance, if there is any, in your kidneys and your liver. Liver can be weakened with anger, and the kidney can often be weakened, its energy, with fear that we hold. So when we balance these, when we come into the postures, it encourages a lovely balance if we are holding any of this energy. Perhaps you can feel the chi moving around the knees, the inner thighs, perhaps across the belly even, where the meridians spread from the legs. So we'll draw the knees in. We've done a lot with the hips this evening, so we're going to come into heart bench. A lovely opening in the upper back through the heart and throat centre. So we grab our 2 blocks. I find this particular pose a really welcome pose after sort of a hard day of maybe sat at a computer or a desk, or just generally kind of hunched forward. It's a real deeper relief than normal. So gently lie back on that block that aligns with your spine, and just get in the right position behind your back, and then this top block just to rest your head. Take a few moments to fidget and get that block where you can be most relaxed. It always feels a little bit hard first, but you do get used to it. So for a lovely pose for your heart centre and your throat. A nice softening through your back, your lower back. And then just placing your arms wherever you're most comfortable. If you ever want to, you can, and it feels comfortable. It doesn't entirely to me, but you can raise your arms into cactus or above your head. It pushes a bit too much into that block behind you, but everyone's different. Deep breaths. And just try to follow that natural urge of the chin to tuck in gently. Nice deep breaths. Just keep scanning for any tension. You might notice now that it doesn't feel so hard, that block against your back, and it's actually a really nice pressure against what might ache. the muscles between the shoulder blades. How does this pose feel? And again, just exploring what feelings come in this particular shape. Very heart opening, softening. It's a lovely pose to come into if you're feeling challenged in a situation emotionally or feeling hurt. Coming into this position can really kind of allow things some perspective, a forgiving or a calmness around the situation. And as it works with our throat center, perhaps there is some reflection on how to communicate our feelings. So we'll take one more breath and then slowly lifting the head, looking at the toes, and then gently using your arms to support lifting up. Put the blocks aside and then we'll come straight back down. And let's just have a few moments enjoying that lovely juicy squeeze. Feels good. It almost feels sometimes like when you've had a massage just between in your upper back and somebody's kind of released a few knots. So relaxing the rest of your back, lower lumbar spine. And as you lie here, we're focused on how the after effects of heart bench felt, but awareness also on the hips that we worked earlier. And so let's just draw the knees in. We'll just have a moment or two in waterfall just to come into a final inversion. It's always nice. We'll just take a minute here or so. So if you've got a cushion, just pop it under your buttocks, make a little wedge and just raise the legs. They don't have to be lifted too high, literally. Just coming into a few moments of softening pose here. And as we let the fluids in our legs sort of drain in the opposite direction, we can think about it metaphorically, like we can just let any worries or issues that we've come across today drain away. Nice deep breaths. Even in your postures, you can notice chi movement, whether there's even a warmth, perhaps. different temperatures throughout your body. So we'll just gently lower the feet, bending knees. And again, just observing how they feel now, how the hips feel. Let's just have a breath in Shavasana. And then when you're ready, let's come into relaxation. If you want to stay lying down, you can. Just get warm with your blankets. If you want to come to seated, that's up to you as well. Whatever feels more restful for you. It's a nice evening practice, winding down for bed. It's nice to keep the yin energy. So I think I'll just flick through the angel cards. Seeing if there's something, a nice little message that we can take to bed with us and let roll around in our subconscious all night. The more we can program our subconscious for a good night's sleep, and throughout the night, there really is some downloading of information going on, and we can make the last thoughts before we drift off positive. So this little card, Bethany. When you take excellent care of yourself, everybody benefits. Give yourself a relaxing treat today or tomorrow, such as a massage, sea salt bath or pedicure. You are a giver, and God loves you for that. Now it is time to give to yourself. I am helping you to spiritually open your body through the process of relaxation. So you see that relaxing has its own productive side to it. The more you allow me and the other angels to give to you, the more you will be able to give to others. Your soul has called out to heaven, begging for some rest and relaxation. You've been working carelessly, and you've also been juggling many other people's interests. Now it is time for your reward. This is a directive from heaven. Take care of yourself and don't allow yourself to be swayed from the important mission. Take steps right now to create time for relaxation. You will feel happier and have more peace of mind as a result, which will benefit everybody in your life. So something we already know, but just a little reminder that when you look after yourself, you can then give so much to others. So maybe in these last few minutes as you're relaxing, I'd like you to think of a few ways that you can give back to yourself, whether it's a nice treatment or time to read a book. Social time that enhances you, whatever it may be. So very gently. Just noticing whatever thoughts were just wandering through your mind just then. Come back to your breath consciously. Deep inhale, and maybe a lovely sigh. Feeling relaxed, balanced, a calm mind. And maybe just with those thoughts that we mentioned earlier about the last few thoughts that you have as you go to sleep. It's something I do now and then when I remind myself, but I do say, I am positive, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I always sleep well, I will be productive tomorrow. Just a few little I ams in a positive way, just to program your mind as you sleep. So when you're ready, just having a few moments to wiggle fingers and toes and enjoy a nice stretch. And if you do go to bed, just saying a few lovely I am quotes to yourself, it almost brings like a little internal smile. So coming up to seated when you're ready. And in hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.